the end of Soup-tember, and today I'm sharing my favorite soup recipe. This is a French onion soup. We've got that bubbly cheese on top with French bread. The flavors are super rich and really deep with beef stock and Cabernet Sauvignon. You guys are gonna absolutely love this one, and I can't wait to share it with you. Hi, I'm Tara with Simply Made Eats, and welcome to my channel. It is officially fall, which means soup season! Yay, it is my absolute favorite thing to cook, and I've been waiting, I feel like 2 months now, to be able to say that I can officially cook soup. So we're here, the weather is still pretty warm in North Carolina, but I'm going for it. So today we're gonna start with a French onion soup. The reason why I wanted to start with this one is because it's definitely a crowd favorite. One of my friends told me that she had to make this for her husband last year, pretty much every single week in fall and winter because he loved it so much. So I really want to share this one with you. It's actually one of my favorites too. And it's just got a lot of simple ingredients, but it's just so delicious. The flavor is really rich with the wine and the beef stock, and I absolutely know you're gonna love this one. So we're gonna get started by chopping up our onions. We are using some serious onions in this recipe. So I've got 3 pretty large sweet yellow onions, and then I also have 3 red onions. I like to use the mixture just so that you get a taste of just both flavors. They just create really good flavor together. And I think with an onion soup, you gotta have that. So we are gonna chop these up. We wanna cut them into slices that are about 1/4 inch thick, not too skinny and not too thick. Oh, and make sure that you close your bedroom doors because it's gonna get stinky in your house. And I know this looks like a ridiculous amount of onions, but they are gonna caramelize and cook down. And this soup makes about 8 to 10 servings. It creates a lot of soup, which is awesome because you can save it for leftovers. It actually tastes almost better the next day after it sits. It's just really delicious and full of flavor. Then once you get the yellow onions done, I like to just transfer them into a bowl so I don't have this crazy amount of onions. Make sure you're ready to cry and have your sinuses cleared out too. I make it sound so bad. Oh, this is the worst. Beware of the French onion soup. It's really not that bad, I promise. And if it's a nice day, you can always leave the window open. Then you won't get quite as stinky. But I promise, the taste of this is 100% worth it. Okay, so once we get all of our red onions chopped, we're gonna just mix them in here too. The only other thing we have to chop up is the garlic, and we just want to mince that nice and fine. Next, we're going to go ahead and get our Dutch oven going over medium-low heat. These onions are going to cook low and slow for a bit, and if you don't have a Dutch oven, you can definitely just use a large pot. Just make sure you have enough room in there because this is going to create a decent amount of soup. Once the Dutch oven heats up, you're going to add in 4 tablespoons of salted butter, or unsalted if you prefer that. And then you just wanna add in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Once our butter melts completely, we're gonna add in all of those onions into the Dutch oven. Then we're gonna cook these for about 8 minutes with the lid on, and then uncover it, give it a nice stir, and you're gonna cook it with the lid on for another 7 minutes. By this time, they'll start to soften just a bit. We're gonna add a little bit of salt in, and we're gonna give it a really nice stir. Then we're gonna cook it on medium heat in 5-minute increments, covering it the whole time and adding a little bit more olive oil in. These are gonna take about 35 minutes total to get it the way we want it to. And then we're gonna increase the heat to about medium-high and cook it for 5 more minutes. Once that gets done, we're gonna add in our flour. We've got some minced garlic, dried thyme, and our bay leaf. And you want to stir this really well. Next, we're going to pour in a 1/4 cup of Cabernet Sauvignon. You can definitely use another kind of red wine if you prefer it in this. And you want to just stir it in really well just to incorporate it all into the onions. And next, you're going to pour in 2 32-ounce containers of beef stock. You want to use stock here, not broth, so you get those really rich flavors. I love this Kitchen Basics brand. It's fantastic, and it's really salty and just super rich. Then you want to stir this up. You're going to bring it to a low boil, and then you're going to cover it and cook it for another 30 minutes on low. Okay, so while our soup is simmering, we're gonna go ahead and get our bread and cheese ready for the topping, which that's my favorite part, so we're definitely not gonna miss that. I'm just using a French loaf. This is kind of like a hoagie actually, but you can use French bread, you can use ciabatta. I would choose something that is like on the harder side, because what happens is if it's just really soft bread, it's just gonna like make it super mushy and kind of sink into the soup. Which is why we're gonna toast it too. So I'm just gonna slice some pieces of bread, just even slices, maybe like 1 inch thick or so. And we're gonna preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And if you're just like heating this up for yourself, you can definitely just stick these in the toaster instead of having to use the oven. But I know I'm gonna need a lot of them. And then you're just gonna spread this out on a cookie sheet. If you want, you can add a little olive oil and salt or garlic butter, that would be good too. Then we're gonna toast these in the oven for about 8 minutes until they're nice and crispy. Next we've got the cheese. So I'm using a Gruyere cheese here. If you can get your hands on aged provolone, that's also really delicious. They had it at my butcher shop one time and they sliced it for me and it was so good on this French onion soup. But Gruyere is really good too. It's just stinky. Everything's stinky in this recipe. But what you wanna do is just unwrap it, and then you can definitely like grate it in this recipe, but I find that sometimes it kind of sinks into the soup like that. So I like to just do like thin slices. And my favorite way to get it really thin is just to use a vegetable peeler like this and just run it along it. That way it's like nice and thin like this. Everything's really even and it just melts super good. Do you guys have a favorite soup for fall? Let me know in the comments what your favorite soup is. I definitely feel like it's like, for me, it's like a tie between, okay, French onion's probably my favorite. Then I really love baked potato soup and I like broccoli and cheese a lot too. All those like really heavy ones, right? I like chili. I just really like soup. I like every kind of soup. You want these to be nice and crispy. Once they come out of the oven, these are perfect. So our soup is looking absolutely amazing. It's all finished up. One thing I did want to mention is I always add a little bit of salt and pepper at the end. You can also like add in a little dash of like Cholula hot sauce is good. But just taste it and see, you know, if you want salt, that's good. It kind of depends on like the beef stock that you used. If it wasn't super salty, then you probably need to add salt and pepper. Plus, I love a bunch of pepper in the soup, so I'll probably add some more of that to the top of mine too. Okay, so to assemble our French onion soup, we're gonna go ahead and put our oven on broil, get that heated up, and then we're just gonna fill it almost all the way to the top. And then just add in a couple bread slices. I like to use 2 on each. And then you are going to just cover these up with that cheese. Just don't press down because we don't want it to sink in there. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good. I like a lot of cheese in mine. I had a couple chunky pieces that fell off, so I just added those to there too. And if you want it like on the sides, you can definitely like kind of wrap it on the sides of it too. Now I like to just stick these on a cookie sheet. That way I'm not like taking a huge risk and having to pour stuff all over myself whenever I pull it out of the broiling oven. All right, these look really good. These are ready to pop in. Once you pull them out of the oven, you want to let them sit for about 10 minutes so you don't burn your mouth off. That's it, we're all done with this French onion soup recipe. I hope you guys decide to make this one. Let me know in the comments if you do, and let me know if you love it as much as I do. Thanks so much for being here, and make sure to subscribe so we can keep cooking together. I share new quick and easy recipes every single week, and I love to share them with you. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye!